Hello, my lovely viewers and subscribers. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. Today I will be doing a brief tutorial on how to crochet a miniature version of this top, okay? You can use 4 colors, you can use one solid color, you can use 2 colors depending on what you want to use. So we're going to get started. Okay, so we're going to start and I'm just going to use 50 chains, okay? Okay, so now I have 50 chains, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into my 6th stitch, which is here, and I'm gonna make a double crochet. I'm gonna make 1, 2 chains. I'm gonna go in the same stitch, make another double crochet. I'm gonna count 1, 2 stitch here. I'm skipping 2 stitch. I'm going in my 3rd stitch, and I'm making another double crochet, 1, 2 chains in the same half double crochet stitch, okay? In the same chain stitch we're making 2 double crochets, as you can see. So there's a double crochet here, 2 chains here, double crochet here in the same chain stitch. So it would be 2 chains between here, okay? Okay, let's do this again. So we're gonna skip 1, 2, go into our 3rd chain, and there we go. We're gonna make 1, 2 chains, we're gonna skip 1, 2, go into our 3rd chain, 1, 2 chains. Okay, we're gonna go into the same chain stitch down here. We're gonna skip 2 chains, and we're gonna go into our 3rd chain stitch, 1, 2 chains in here, and then as you can see, this is what it's starting to look like. And as you can see, this is quite repetitive. And it's a pattern. I'll show you what I mean after, when I get to the end of this. Okay, so we're at the end, and this is what you should have. This is what it should look like. Okay, now I'm gonna turn my yarn around that I already crocheted, and I'm gonna make 1 2 3 4 5 6 stitch. I'm gonna go into my first double crochet here, and I'm gonna make another double crochet. I'm gonna go over here in my next stitch, okay, and I'm gonna make a double crochet, 2 chains, go back in the same stitch, go on this side. So you should have something that's starting to look like that. Okay, so we're at the end of the second row. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the needle here, and I'm gonna make a double crochet. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Okay, so when you're adding your next color, let me just grab a green. When you're adding your next color, you can either take your needle out and push your needle through here, okay, and go like this to add your next color, right? Or you can cut your yarn, tighten it, and just start your next color here. But I'm doing it this way for now. And you're gonna make 1 2 3 4 5 chains, 6 chains, okay, and then you're gonna go into the first stitch, and then you're gonna go into your next stitch, and you're gonna make 2 chains, go into the same stitch, okay. So you have something that looks like this, and you're gonna keep going. Okay, so it should start to look like this, okay. Okay, so once you have that, you're gonna keep adding whatever colors that you want to add, and you should have something that looks like this. Okay, so this is what I have. This is a miniature version of what I'm crocheting. Okay, so I have this, and what I do is I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna fold it over on both ends, okay, and then this is gonna be like your collar, right? So I'm just gonna join this and this end, right? So let me just join it now, but first I'm gonna cut my yarn here at the end here. There we go, and I'm gonna tighten this, tighten the end. As I said, this is a mini version. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna crochet at least 6 rows of this, okay, but I'm just doing this for now. I'm just doing a mini version, so I'm just doing it like this so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so this is gonna be the sleeve, okay, these are the sleeve, and this is gonna be your collar, but I'm gonna join it So I'm going to turn it on the opposite end. Okay, and I'm going to join it now. So I'm going to use the pink to join it. Let me grab my pink. Okay, so I'm just gonna start joining, and I'm gonna push my needle through the first stitch here, and I'm gonna join it using single crochets. Okay, like this. So you're gonna go into each chain stitch and join it, and it is easy. Okay, you just have to push your needle back and forth this way, back and forth. And you want to make sure when you're doing it, your arm is even on both sides. So both arms are even because your arms are the same size. Okay, so this is a miniature one. So I crocheted up to here, okay? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just cut this off. And I'm gonna tighten up my yarn. Okay, and then I'm gonna take the other side. And I should get my marker. Sorry, I'm not 100% prepared. Okay, so here are the markers. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this edge together. I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna put them together to make sure they're even on both sides. I'm gonna take my marker and I'm gonna put my marker here to mark where I need to crochet. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this over. I'm gonna get my pink yarn because that's what I'm using to close this up, and I'm gonna take the other end, push my needle through like so, and through here as well. Okay, and then I'm gonna keep going by joining. Okay, I'm pushing my needle through and I'm joining it. Okay, so we're at the last stitch right now, and I'm just gonna finish it off. I'm gonna cut it. tighten it. I'm going to take my marker out. Okay, now I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to turn it inside out. And as you can see, this is what you have. Okay, so now I'm going to use my other color. Okay, and I'm going to start with my blue. So I'm going to use blue as my next color. And I'm going to start here. Okay, I'm starting here, see, in my next color from that stitch. Okay, and I'm gonna make 1, 2, 3 chains. I'm gonna go into this stitch and then in this stitch go back in this stitch, in here, oops, and you're gonna keep going like that till you get to the very end of the other side. Okay, so we're going now to the other end with the same color. Okay, so we're only changing our colors. So we're gonna have 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of each color, as you can see. Let me see. So 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. You're using 4 rows of each color. 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep crocheting back and forth with this. Okay guys, so we're gonna add gray now. Okay, so we're gonna go to the very end and we're gonna add our gray, and we're gonna make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chains. We're going in the same space, make double crochet, and you might hear children in the background. My granddaughter has arrived, so you might hear her little voice in my video. Okay, so we're gonna continue like that with the gray all the way across. Okay, and what we're doing is we're going back and forth. You're gonna have 4 rows of each color. Okay, so let me stop for a minute. You're gonna have 4 rows, okay, of each color. So 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, and then 4 rows. Okay, so we're finishing up our last row. Okay, so this is not the real thing. I just want to show you how I did it. So if you want to do it, you can do it. One of my subscribers, Anne, she wanted me to do a tutorial on this video, so that's why I'm doing it. And another viewer wants me to do, actually to send her the link to the dress that I crocheted prior to this one, but there is no link to the dress. I crocheted that dress myself. I just used some different crochet stitch techniques in order to complete the dress. So I don't have a link for that. However, I can do those stitch just so you can see how they're done, okay? And I think that's the only solution. There is no link. I don't have a link. Those are things that I have in my brain, and I just think about different things that I want to crochet using different crochet stitch, and they just come alive. But I can show you how to crochet that particular stitch if that's something that you'd like. So I will be doing that sometime this weekend. So as you can see, we did this part so far, and this is what you should have. Okay, so you should have something. Let me hold my camera up. You should have something that looks like this. Okay, that looks like this. So what we're going to work on right now is here, along here. Okay, and we're going to finish off. Okay, so we're going to clip our yarn, our gray yarn right there, and we're going to tighten it up. And we're going to tuck it in. And we can always clip the yarn later on, but I'm not really gonna take too much time to do that. I can do that later. Okay, so I'm gonna do this part. Whoops, camera is shaking. Let me just put my camera up. Okay, so I'm gonna do this part. Okay, and I'm gonna start with, let's start with this side. And I'm gonna go to the very edge here. Let me just show you where I'm going with my needle. So I'm at the very edge. Okay, now I'm gonna add my pink. I'm just gonna use pink for this. There's no particular color. I just decided to use pink. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make 1, 2, 3. So 3 chains, and then I'm gonna make a double crochet in here. And so what you should have is something that looks like this at the very edge, and then you're gonna make 1, 2, 3 chains. You're gonna go in here, okay, in that stitch, 1, 2, 3 chains, and you're gonna go in here. You just want to even things out, okay? You just want to put them where your stitch will be even. So I'm going in here. So as you can see, I want to make sure everything is pretty much even. I've been crocheting that I don't even need to count chain spaces anymore. I've been doing it for so long. I just look and I just keep going. Okay, that's how I crochet because I've been doing it so long. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go into here. So I'm going in here, and I'm gonna make 3 chains, 3 double crochet rather in there. And then I'm gonna go here, and 1, 2, 3, and then here, and then in here, and here, so you're making 3 chains, 3 double crochets, 3 chains all the way around. Okay, should have something that looks like this. Okay, so let's stop for a minute. So this is what it's starting to look like. Okay, keep in mind we're using a different color, so it's not going to look identical to the actual top. Okay, but you get the idea. And this is how it's going to close eventually. Let me just show you like that, but I'll keep going so you can see. Okay, so we're going to do this row now. So we're going back in the same stitch here. And we're going to make 1, 2, 3 chains. Actually, no, sorry. We're not making any chains. We're just going to go in here. That's the children, I think, singing. My granddaughter is over, so it's nothing but excitement when she's here. She's the life of the house when she gets here. You know, when children are smaller, you get so mesmerized by them. There are things that they do and say, and you just sit and you just look and just smile. because they're so cute. And sometimes they say, as they say, kids say the darnest things. Yeah. Sometimes my granddaughter says stuff and I look at her like, how old is she? Like, she can say certain things and you think you're listening to a little adult. And I don't mean anything that's rude. It's just, something like really intelligent or really sensible. And you have to do it like a double take to look at her to figure out, like, how old is this little baby? Yeah. But I'm glad that God has blessed me to be able to be a grandma before I depart from this earth, whenever that is. Some people don't get the opportunity, but I'm glad that I have the opportunity. And as young as I may look, sometimes it's hard to believe that I'm a grandma. But it's a blessing. A lot of things that is put in our lives are blessings. Some of us don't see it. Some do. And we should always count our blessings. The more you count your blessings, or the more blessings that you'll get in life. And the more you're grateful for is the more you will get. And the better your life will be. And I just believe in believing for what you want, and knowing what you want, and asking for what you want, and you shall receive it. I believe in asking for what you want and you'll receive it, and giving and you'll also receive. But I don't give in order to receive. I just give from my heart. And we're getting somewhere, guys. And ladies and gentlemen, I do have a lot of my viewers are men, believe it or not. A lot of my subscribers are men, believe it or not. We're living in different times where men are starting to embrace certain things in this lifetime. So see, this is the mini version of what I'm making, and as you can see, this is what it's starting to look like. Okay, it doesn't exactly look like the one I made prior, but it's the same idea. Okay, and I'm gonna crochet the bottom now, and then I'll show you how to put the buttons on. Okay, so I'm just gonna crochet the bottom. I'm gonna do about 3 rows of double crochets. Okay, so this is the first set of double crochets that we're doing at the bottom of our top. Okay, so you're pushing your needle inside the chain stitch and you're making double crochets. And you're going into this stitch over here and you're making double crochets. Okay, so you have like a perfect edge. Okay, so we're gonna do one more row because this is just a tutorial. Let me just stop and show you for a minute. So this is what your top looks like. Okay, this is the top, the mini version of the top. So that's what it looks like. Okay, so we're gonna do the buttons shortly. I'm gonna put the buttons, well, one button, not buttons, but button. I'm gonna put the button on. Okay, I'm gonna do the last row of double crochet. Let me pull my camera back over here. Okay, so let's finish this up. So we're doing a double crochet in the next double crochet stitch, straight across. Okay, so I'm gonna go all the way to the end. Okay, so we're gonna cover the button. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a loop, and then I'm gonna make single crochets inside my loop. Okay, and I'm gonna keep going around. I'm gonna go into my single crochets. Sorry. Okay, so what I'm making is the cover for the button. And you're just making single crochets, and you're going into each single crochet with another single crochet all the way around, and then you're gonna stop for a minute just to see how your button fits, and you need to go some more, so I'm gonna keep going. Okay, so I'm gonna stop again, and I'm gonna see if my button can fit inside, and we're getting there, as you can see. Okay, we're almost there. So what you want to do is put your button in the middle and pull, okay? So this is what you want to accomplish. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this because I want to close my button inside, okay? So I'm going to keep going until I can close it without leaving big gaps in between. So I'm going to keep going around until it's starting to close, and then I'm going to decrease my single crochet. So I'm decreasing my single crochet. I go in each single crochet space and I pull 2 on my yarn and I pull it through, and I'm gonna go 1, 2 inside my next stitch, and then I'm gonna pick up 1, 2 on my needle, pull them all through, and then I'm just gonna do that with the rest because I want to close it off now. So as you can see, it's pretty much finished. Okay, and there we have it. We covered our button. Okay, so I'm just gonna take the scissors now and I'm gonna clip my yarn. I'm gonna pull my yarn through. Okay, and I'm gonna tuck my yarn through like this. And now it's time to sew. So what you do is you're gonna knot two ends instead of one. When you knot the 2 ends, then your stitch becomes stronger. Okay, so I'm gonna put my button on this side. Okay, there we go. And I'm gonna make sure that when I close this, I'll be able to push my button through here. And there we go. Yep, that will work. So I'm gonna measure again and I'm gonna sew my button here. Okay, I'm gonna turn this over and I'm gonna sew my button. I want to make sure my button is nice and strong, and I'm using a yarn needle. So I'm just sewing this button in like different directions to make sure that it's secured and it doesn't want to come through. Okay, let's take this out and try it again. And it's better to hold on to your button because it's inside of what you crocheted, so it's going to be slipping all over the place. So you want to have control over it, so you're going to just hang on to it while you're sewing because you don't want it to slip all over the place. See, you want it to be secure. Okay, so I'm just going to keep sewing because I want to make sure that this is secure. Okay, I'm going to try it this way. I'm using a yarn needle, so yarn needles aren't very pointy, so you have to do all the work. You have to push everything through. So I'm just gonna clip this now. Okay, and I'm gonna put my button through. And there you have it. Okay, so it might not look exactly the same because it's a mini version of the actual top that I crocheted. Okay, but let me take my camera out and I will kind of focus out so you can see. Okay, so here we go. That's the mini version. Oops. Okay, so that's the mini version of the top. Okay, but your sleeves will be longer and it's gonna be shorter in real life. Okay, hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Until next time, many blessings to you. Take care. Bye for now.